Have you ever wondered, when you retire, should you transfer your entire TSP to an IRA? If so, stay tuned for the next episode of All About FERS. Hi, I'm John Raleigh, Certified Financial Planner with All About FERS, and today we're going to talk about one of the biggest decisions you'll make as you retire from federal service. Today we have a question from Diane. Diane writes, my husband and I both retired from the federal government in June. We are currently 68 and 63. Your podcasts have been super helpful. We have been in a good position of not needing to draw any distributions from our TSP account, which are decently large. We want to know if there's a downside to transferring our accounts to an IRA directly in their entirety and closing our TSP accounts. We're getting uncomfortable with having so much money in a government account. We want to continue to work with our financial advisor on slowly converting the money to a Roth IRA. Thanks, Diane. Well, Diane, thanks so much for the question. I'm glad the podcasts have been helpful. And let's go ahead and unpack these questions that you have. We will start with the TSP itself. The TSP is a secure, low-cost plan. For a lot of federal employees, it is their largest asset. And it has been a place where their retirement security is based. Other than their pension, it is a huge piece of their retirement picture. Let's look at some of the positives for the TSP. As a savings vehicle is one of the best plans available. The TSP has adequate but limited investment options. The TSP has inexpensive administrative and investment fees. They have a broad diversification of investment choices in the three core stock funds, S, C, and I. They have access to the G fund, a no volatility, and access to short-term treasury bond rates. There has been the introduction of the target date funds, the L funds. There is also a Roth TSP option and the mutual fund window. Let's look at the negative aspects for the TSP. You have a limitation of investment strategies with the CS and I fund, and this is due to their broad investment nature. You have restrictions on the mutual fund window's uses. You have inflexible allocation issues. Roth and traditional TSPs cannot be allocated differently. And withdrawals are taken from all the funds, so you cannot pick a specific fund for distributions. But let's start with looking at the shortfalls of the IRA. First, higher fees. IRAs will often have higher fees than the TSP, and the fees will depend on investment choices or the management you choose. You lose the loss of the G fund if you move the money to an IRA. The TSP's G fund is unique to the industry. There's no exact equivalent in the industry out there. The TSP has a stronger creditor protection compared to IRAs. But remember, this creditor protection is state specific. Now let's look at some of the positives. IRAs have more investment options, and you can be more specific on industries, areas of the world, and size of the companies than the options in the TSP. Direct Roth conversions are allowed in IRAs, and this can help with long-term tax planning and being proactive to help you control the RMDs that you're going to face in the future. You have greater flexibility at managing your distributions, what investments the distributions are coming from, and how much you're taking from them. Remember, you're retired now, and you're in distribution mode, not savings mode. So Diane, to answer your question, is there a downside to transferring your accounts to an IRA directly or entirely and then closing out the TSP? The answer, of course, is yes and no. There's positives and negatives. If you transfer, you lose access to the TSP's low-cost investment funds. You lose access to the G fund, and you lose the familiarity of the TSP as a savings vehicle to you. Now, how about your concern because you're getting uncomfortable with having so much money in a government account? You have the ability to do a full or a partial transfer. Remember, transfer, not rollover. We've talked about this a lot. Make sure it's a transfer from your TSP to an IRA. This might mean you have the best of both worlds, depending on your situation. The big one, too, is your desire to want to continue to work with your financial planner on slowly converting to a Roth IRA. This will need to be done by transferring the TSP, full or partial, to an IRA to get this done. So Diana, as you can see, there are pros and cons with every decision, and the good news is you do have options. I hope this clears up some of the confusions and help clarify some of the questions you had about your TSP and an IRA and some of the choices you have. Thanks for stopping by All About FERS, and until next time, happy planning.